Have you ever had that uncomfortable feeling that something is not right with someone you know? Maybe a chill down your spine when they enter the room, or a persistent doubt that won't go away no matter how hard you try to ignore it. In today's video, we will explore 15 clear signs that may indicate you are dealing with a bad person. Stay until the end, because the last one is the most shocking. These are not just occasional negative behaviors. They are consistent patterns that can reveal someone's true nature. Get ready to dive into a topic that is as intriguing as it is vital for our emotional well-being and interpersonal relationships. We will uncover these signs, supported by Stoic wisdom, which teaches us not only to recognize, but also to deal with other people's negativity in a way that protects our inner peace and keeps our integrity intact. Are you ready to open your eyes and maybe see the world a little more clearly? Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, let's start this transformative journey together. Sign 1. Constant criticism. Facing constant criticism can be a clear indicator that you are dealing with a bad person. This type of behavior is not about offering constructive feedback or helping personal growth. It is persistent negative criticism aimed at diminishing someone's confidence and self-esteem. When someone is always pointing out your mistakes without ever acknowledging your successes or efforts, it can be a sign of toxicity. For example, imagine a co-worker who always finds faults in your presentations, even when everyone else seems satisfied, or a partner who constantly criticizes your appearance or choices, making you feel inadequate or incapable. These constant criticisms are often used as a control tool. By making you doubt your abilities and worth, the toxic person can exert more power over you. This behavior is deliberately designed to make you feel dependent on their approval, creating a vicious cycle that is hard to break. Moreover, constant criticism can be a way for the bad person to project their own insecurities. By criticizing others, they may try to divert attention from their own flaws or make their problems seem smaller in comparison. This is particularly common in competitive environments, where putting others down might seem like a way to stand out. Remember, healthy criticism is balanced and aimed at supporting growth. It is specific, constructive, and usually followed by suggestions on how to improve. If you constantly find yourself on the receiving end of negative comments that offer no path for improvement, it is a strong indication that you might be dealing with a malicious person. Recognizing this pattern is the first step in taking measures to protect your emotional and mental well-being. Sign 2. Lack of empathy. A lack of empathy is a revealing sign that you might be dealing with a bad person. Empathy is the ability to understand and share another person's feelings, and it is crucial for healthy and constructive human relationships. When someone consistently shows a lack of consideration for others' feelings, it can indicate a problematic character. For instance, imagine you share a difficult experience with a friend, hoping for support or understanding. Instead of offering comfort or solidarity, this person quickly changes the subject or minimizes your feelings, suggesting you are exaggerating or that your problem is not that serious. This kind of response shows a clear lack of empathy and can leave you feeling alone and misunderstood. Another manifestation of a lack of empathy can be seen in conflict or stress situations. A person who lacks empathy may react to conflicts with coldness or even cruelty, ignoring the emotional effects of their words and actions on others. In work environments, for example, a boss who never considers their employees' personal circumstances when making demands or giving criticism is exhibiting a worrying lack of empathy. The inability to recognize and respond appropriately to others' emotional needs not only harms personal relationships, but also creates a toxic environment where trust and cooperation are hard to establish. This can lead to a cycle of negativity and resentment affecting everyone involved. It's important to distinguish between someone who occasionally seems distant or disconnected due to stress or personal issues and someone who consistently shows a lack of empathy. In cases of persistent lack of empathy, it's crucial to consider the long-term implications for your emotional well-being and possibly take steps to protect yourself from harmful influences. Recognizing a lack of empathy in someone you interact with regularly is essential for understanding the dynamics of the relationship and making informed decisions on how to manage these interactions in a way that preserves your emotional health. Sign 3. Frequent lies. One of the clearest signs that you might be dealing with a bad person is the habit of lying frequently. Lies can range from small distortions of the truth to complete falsehoods that have the potential to cause significant harm. When someone constantly resorts to lying, it not only compromises trust, but also indicates a lack of respect for others and the reality of situations. For example, imagine discovering that a co-worker has been spreading false information about your contributions to work projects. Initially, it might seem like a misunderstanding, but when the pattern repeats, it becomes clear that there is an intention to manipulate perceptions to favor themselves or harm others. This type of behavior is a red flag that the person may not have scruples about using dishonesty to achieve their goals. Frequent lies can also occur in personal relationships. If a partner often alters the truth about where they've been or who they've been with, it can indicate deeper issues of trust and integrity. This pattern of dishonesty creates an unstable foundation for any relationship, leading to doubts and insecurities that can be emotionally exhausting. Moreover, lying repeatedly about small things can be equally problematic. This may indicate an ingrained habit of manipulation or an inability to deal with the truth, even in circumstances that do not require deceit. Such behavior can leave friends and family members constantly on guard, unable to relax and trust what the person says. To deal with someone who lies frequently, it's important to keep a mental or even written record of incidents that raise suspicions. This can help confirm whether there is indeed a pattern of dishonesty. Confronting the person with evidence might be a necessary step, although it's essential to do so calmly and objectively to avoid escalating the conflict. Finally, it's crucial to assess the impact of these lies on your own life and well-being. In some cases, it might be necessary to reevaluate or even end the relationship with someone who continues to be dishonest despite the consequences. Protecting yourself from harmful influences is a fundamental step in maintaining mental and emotional health. Identifying and understanding the impact of frequent lies is essential for making informed decisions about how to deal with individuals who may be causing more harm than good in your life. Sign 4. Subtle manipulation. Subtle manipulation is an alarming sign that you may be dealing with a bad person. Manipulators are masters at using words and actions to influence others in ways that are not immediately obvious. This behavior is dangerous because it can be hard to detect, and often the victims may feel confused, insecure, or even guilty without fully understanding why. A classic example of subtle manipulation can occur in a relationship where one party frequently makes you feel obligated to do things against your will, using guilt or shame as tools. For instance, a partner might say something like, "After everything I've done for you, you won't do this for me," pressuring you to fulfill their wishes without considering your feelings or needs. In the workplace, subtle manipulation can take the form of a colleague who subtly takes credit for your ideas, or constantly puts you in compromising situations. They might do this in such a disguised manner that when you try to confront or explain the situation to others, it seems like you are overreacting or misinterpreting things. Additionally, subtle manipulators are adept at changing narratives to fit their interests. They may distort facts or omit information in a way that makes the truth hazy, leaving others confused or uncertain about what really happened. This is particularly harmful because it can destabilize trust between people and within groups, creating an environment of distrust and anxiety. To deal with subtle manipulation, it's crucial to develop strong self-awareness and confidence in your perceptions. Keep a mental or written record of situations that seem manipulative and try to identify patterns. Talking to a trusted friend or counselor about your experiences can also help validate your perceptions and decide how to act. Confronting a manipulator can be challenging, but it's important to do so assertively and clearly. Set firm boundaries and communicate directly about what is and isn't acceptable to you. This can not only discourage future manipulation, but also protect your emotional and psychological integrity. Recognizing and understanding subtle manipulation is essential to avoid becoming a victim of this destructive behavior. By staying vigilant and proactive in your communication and interactions, you can protect yourself and promote a healthier and more respectful environment, both personally and professionally. Sign 5. Consistent disrespect. One of the clear signs that you may be dealing with a bad person is consistent disrespect. When someone frequently shows a lack of consideration for your opinions, feelings, or needs, it is not just rude, but also indicative of a problematic character. This can manifest in various forms, from constant interruptions when you speak to derogatory or dismissive comments about your choices and lifestyle. For example, imagine you are in a meeting trying to share your ideas, but a colleague consistently talks over you or dismisses your suggestions without proper consideration. Or think about a situation where a friend or partner constantly makes jokes at your expense, even after you have expressed discomfort with this behavior. This type of continuous disrespect not only undermines your self-esteem, but also can leave you feeling invisible and devalued. Disrespect can also extend to not acknowledging your personal boundaries. If someone consistently ignores or crosses limits you have set, such as times for contact or respecting your need for personal space, it shows a lack of respect for your autonomy. This invasive behavior is a way of invalidating your ability to make decisions about your own life. To deal with consistent disrespect, it is essential to be assertive in your interactions. Clearly communicate what you consider respectful and what is not acceptable. For example, if someone regularly interrupts you, it might be necessary to say directly, "I would like to finish my thought before receiving your feedback." Establishing and maintaining these boundaries is crucial for preserving your self-respect and demanding that others treat you with the due consideration. Additionally, it is important to evaluate whether it is worth maintaining a relationship with someone who consistently shows disrespect. In many cases, people who do not respect others may not change their behavior even after being confronted. In such cases, it might be necessary to re-evaluate the relationship and possibly distance yourself to protect your emotional well-being. Recognizing consistent disrespect is essential to understand the dynamics of your relationships and make informed decisions about how to deal with these situations. By maintaining your dignity and demanding respect, you not only improve your quality of life, but also attract people who value and respect your presence, contributing to healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Sign 6. Isolation from friends and family. A worrying sign that you may be dealing with a bad person is their deliberate effort to isolate you from your friends and family. This manipulative behavior aims to cut your ties with those who could offer support and alternative perspectives, making you more dependent and controllable. Isolating someone from their support networks is a common tactic in abusive relationships, as it reduces the victim's ability to seek help or resist the abuser's control. For example, a partner might start criticizing your friends and family, questioning their intentions, and gradually suggesting that you spend less time with them. They might express jealousy or dissatisfaction when you make plans with others, or create situations that make it difficult for you to maintain these connections. Over time, these actions can make you feel guilty or anxious about wanting to keep connections outside the relationship. In a work environment, a colleague or supervisor who tries to isolate you might withhold important information about meetings or team discussions, making it difficult for you to collaborate or contribute effectively. This isolation not only hinders your professional performance, but also affects your position and relationships within the company. To combat this type of isolation, it is crucial to keep your support networks active and informed about what is happening in your life. Communicate regularly with friends and family, and be honest about your experiences and feelings. Having trusted people to count on provides a crucial layer of security and perspective. Additionally, it is important to establish and reinforce healthy boundaries with the person trying to isolate you. Explain that while you value your relationship with them, you also value your other relationships, and that maintaining these connections is essential for your well-being. If necessary, seek professional help, such as a counselor or therapist, to discuss ways to approach and resolve these issues healthily. Recognizing and responding to isolation from friends and family is vital for maintaining your independence and emotional health. By ensuring that you keep robust external connections and proactively confronting attempts at isolation, you can protect yourself from manipulation and maintain a balanced and supported lifestyle. Sign 7. Explosions of anger. One of the alarming signs that you might be dealing with a bad person is the frequent occurrence of explosive anger. These episodes of intense anger, often disproportionate to the context, not only create a toxic and unpredictable environment, but also serve as a tool of intimidation and control. Dealing with someone who has explosions of anger can be deeply disturbing and destabilizing. For example, imagine a situation where you ask an innocent question or make a trivial comment, and the person responds with an outburst of anger, accusing you of having intentions you didn't have or severely criticizing you for something irrelevant. These reactions are not only frightening, but can also make you feel constantly on edge, fearing to trigger another explosion. These explosions of anger can occur in any type of relationship, be it between partners, friends, or even in the workplace. In a family or romantic relationship, this can manifest as shouting, swearing, or even physically aggressive behavior. At work, it might be someone who uses their anger to dominate meetings, silence colleagues, or impose fear. To deal with explosions of anger, it is important not to react in the heat of the moment. Keeping calm and responding in a balanced manner can help diffuse the situation. If safety allows, discussing the behavior at a calmer moment when the person is more receptive can be helpful. Explain how the outbursts affect you and suggest seeking professional help to manage the anger if appropriate. Additionally, set clear boundaries about what is acceptable in terms of behavior. If the outbursts continue despite your efforts to resolve the situation peacefully, it might be necessary to reevaluate the relationship. In extreme cases, especially if there are threats to your physical safety, distancing yourself completely might be essential. Recognizing that explosions of anger are neither normal nor healthy is crucial for maintaining your emotional and physical well-being. Having strategies to deal with these moments and knowing when to seek external support are important steps to protect yourself and maintain a healthy environment around you. Sign 8. Constant guilt tripping. A clear indicator that you might be dealing with a bad person is when they frequently try to make you feel guilty for things that are not your responsibility. This type of emotional manipulation is used to control and dominate, making you doubt your own actions and decisions, and often acting against your own well-being to appease the other person. For example, if you decide to spend some time alone or with friends and your partner makes you feel selfish or negligent for doing so, that is manipulation through guilt. Similarly, if at work, a colleague or boss suggests that you are not doing enough, even when you are meeting your obligations, this could be a way to make you work extra hours under the weight of guilt. These scenarios are especially toxic because they can lead to a vicious cycle of self-censorship and over-concessions, where you constantly try to satisfy the other person at the expense of your own mental health and happiness. This type of dynamic is harmful and can make you lose confidence in your own ability to make decisions. To deal with constant guilt tripping, it is crucial to recognize when guilt is being used as a tool of manipulation. Pay attention to patterns. Does the person frequently make you feel guilty for things beyond your control or for prioritizing your own needs? Start questioning these situations and evaluate if the expectations placed on you are truly fair. It's also important to establish firm boundaries. Clearly communicate that while you are willing to consider constructive criticism and meet reasonable needs of others, you will not accept being unfairly guilt-tripped. Healthy boundaries can help protect your self-esteem and deter attempts at manipulation. Additionally, reinforce your emotional support by talking to friends or a therapist about your experiences. Having an external perspective can help validate your perceptions and strengthen your resolve to resist manipulation. Finally, if the constant guilt-tripping continues despite your efforts to resolve the situation, it might be necessary to reconsider the relationship or work environment. Protecting your emotional well-being is essential, and in some cases, this might mean distancing yourself from toxic relationships or situations that perpetuate feelings of guilt and inadequacy. Recognizing and acting against manipulation through guilt is a crucial step in maintaining your mental and emotional health. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "mind over body" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Sign 9. Envy of others. A worrying sign that you are dealing with a bad person is when they consistently show envy of others. Envy is not just wanting what someone else has, but also a resentment that someone else possesses something they do not. This can manifest through disparaging comments, attempts to undermine others' successes, or an unhealthy competitive behavior that aims to diminish others' achievements. For example, if a colleague receives a compliment or a promotion and another person immediately tries to devalue that success with criticism or insinuations about favoritism, this can be a sign of envy. Similarly, if a friend constantly makes negative comments about other people's acquisitions or happy experiences, it might indicate a deeper issue of dissatisfaction and bad character. Envy is particularly destructive because it not only harms the person feeling envious, but also creates a toxic environment around them. It can lead to actions aimed directly at harming the well-being or reputation of others, which is a clear indication of malicious behavior. To deal with someone who shows signs of envy, it is important not to fuel this behavior. Avoid bragging or talking excessively about your achievements in the presence of someone who tends to respond negatively. Additionally, try to approach the situation with understanding and offer support, suggesting that you value their qualities and achievements regardless of external comparisons. However, if the envy persists and begins to negatively affect your life or environment, it might be necessary to set firmer boundaries. In extreme cases, distancing yourself from the person might be the best option to maintain your own peace and well-being. Envy is an indicator of deep dissatisfaction and insecurity, and dealing with it requires sensitivity and sometimes decisive actions to protect yourself from its harmful effects. Recognizing this sign not only helps you understand the social dynamics around you, but also allows you to take proactive steps to maintain healthy and positive relationships. Sign 10. Persistent negativity. A clear indicator that you might be dealing with a bad person is persistent negativity in their behavior. This characteristic manifests as a chronically dark or pessimistic attitude, where the person rarely sees the positive side of situations and frequently predicts the worst outcomes. Additionally, they may constantly complain, criticize, and discourage others without offering constructive solutions or support. For example, if you are excited about a new project and share your ideas with a colleague, but they respond only by pointing out all the reasons it won't work, this can be a sign of persistent negativity. Similarly, if a friend always talks about the bad aspects of their life, never seeming satisfied or grateful for anything, it also might indicate a deeper issue. This type of negativity can be extremely emotionally draining for those around them. It can lower morale, spread discouragement, and make it challenging to maintain a positive outlook. People who exhibit persistent negativity often drive others away, because few people want to be around someone who constantly brings down their mood. To deal with someone who is consistently negative, it's important to protect your own energy and emotional state. Try to set clear boundaries about what behaviors you will accept in your presence. For example, you might decide to change the subject or walk away if a conversation becomes excessively negative. Additionally, encouraging a more positive perspective when appropriate can help, but it is vital to do so in a way that is sensitive and not confrontational. It can also be helpful to offer support in finding a more positive vision, such as highlighting the good things happening or reminding the person of their own strengths and past successes. However, if the negativity persists despite your best efforts to help, maintaining a healthy emotional distance might be necessary to preserve your well-being. Finally, if a person's persistent negativity starts to seriously affect your quality of life, seeking counseling or professional support can be beneficial for both you and the negative person, especially if this attitude is rooted in deeper issues that need professional intervention. Recognizing and understanding how to deal with persistent negativity is crucial for maintaining healthy and positive environments, both at work and in personal life. Protecting yourself from negative influences and taking proactive steps to promote positivity can significantly improve the dynamics of your social interactions. Sign 11. Lack of responsibility. Another sign that you might be dealing with a bad person is their constant lack of responsibility. People who avoid taking responsibility for their actions tend to blame others or external circumstances for their own mistakes and failures. This behavior is not only frustrating for those around them, but also reveals a lack of maturity and integrity. For example, if a coworker fails to meet a deadline and immediately blames supposed communication failures or an excessive workload without acknowledging their own role in the occurrence, it is a sign of a lack of responsibility. Similarly, if someone frequently engages in harmful behaviors in relationships and always finds a way to justify their actions by blaming the partner, It also indicates a serious lack of self-awareness and responsibility. To deal with someone who does not assume responsibility, it is important not to get caught up in their web of excuses. Maintain clear expectations and document agreements or discussions whenever possible to avoid misunderstandings. When confronting the person about their behavior, do so objectively, focusing on the facts and the consequences of their actions. Encouraging an open dialogue about mistakes and learning can be a way to help the person see the importance of taking responsibility. However, if the behavior continues, it may be necessary to set firmer boundaries or even re-evaluate the relationship, whether in a professional or personal context. Recognizing a lack of responsibility in someone you interact with regularly is crucial to better understanding the dynamics of the relationship and protecting your own peace and productivity. Dealing with this assertively and consciously can avoid many conflicts and misunderstandings, maintaining a healthier and more responsible environment. Sign 12. Cruel humor. Cruel humor is a worrying sign that you may be dealing with a bad person. When someone frequently makes jokes at others' expense, using sarcasm or disdain disguised as humor, it reveals a willingness to hurt or belittle others for their own entertainment or to feel superior. For example, during a work meeting, if a colleague makes a joke that ridicules another team member for a mistake, it is not only disrespectful but also an example of cruel humor. Similarly, if a friend regularly makes sarcastic comments about your life choices or appearance under the premise of "just kidding," it also can be a sign of malice. This type of behavior creates a hostile and uncomfortable environment, making it difficult for people around to relax or feel safe. Cruel humor often masks insecurities or desires for control and domination, which can significantly harm interpersonal relationships. To deal with cruel humor, it is important to clearly communicate that these jokes are neither appropriate nor welcome. Expressing how this behavior makes you feel can sometimes help the person understand the impact of their words. If the behavior persists, setting distance or stricter boundaries may be necessary to protect your self-esteem and emotional well-being. Recognizing and responding to cruel humor is vital to maintaining a respectful and inclusive environment, whether at work, home, or any social setting. Encouraging humor that uplifts and unites rather than divides and diminishes is essential to building and maintaining healthy relationships. Sign 13. Dishonesty in relationships. Dishonesty in relationships is a clear sign that you may be dealing with a bad person. This behavior ranges from small lies to significant betrayals, indicating a pattern of deceit that undermines the integrity of the relationship. When someone consistently chooses not to be truthful in their interactions, it reveals a fundamental disrespect for others' feelings and well-being. For example, if someone you know frequently hides important information in a relationship, such as details about where they have been or with whom, it is a form of dishonesty. Similarly, if you discover that a friend has been talking about you behind your back, distorting facts to create a negative image of you to others, it also shows a lack of honesty and respect. This type of behavior not only causes pain and confusion, but also can lead to a persistent feeling of insecurity and distrust. Dealing with dishonesty in any relationship is challenging because it is difficult to build something solid on an unstable foundation of lies and half-truths. To confront dishonesty in relationships, it is essential to approach the person involved directly and calmly. Discuss specific incidents of dishonesty you have observed and explain how they have affected your trust in the relationship. Asking for clarity and transparency can help establish whether there is a willingness to change this behavior. However, if dishonesty continues despite your best efforts to resolve the issue, it might be necessary to reconsider the viability of the relationship. In some cases, distancing yourself from someone who persistently chooses dishonesty may be the only way to protect your emotional well-being. Identifying and addressing dishonesty in relationships is crucial for maintaining your integrity and peace of mind. Cultivating relationships based on honesty and transparency is fundamental to creating an environment of mutual trust and respect. Sign 14. Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is an alarming sign that you might be dealing with a bad person. This behavior includes shouting, insults, harsh criticism, and abusive language used to intimidate, control, or emotionally harm someone. Verbal abuse is a form of mistreatment that can leave deep scars, affecting the victim's self-esteem and mental well-being. For example, if during an argument someone consistently resorts to shouting or using hurtful words to win the argument, it shows a lack of respect for healthy communication norms. This verbal aggression is often used to impose power or silence the other person, indicating a toxic relationship dynamic. These behaviors can be especially harmful because they often occur in private settings where the victim feels isolated and unsupported. Verbal abuse can erode confidence and security, making it difficult for the victim to express their opinions or defend themselves. To deal with verbal abuse, it is crucial not to respond in kind. Keeping calm and trying to stabilize the situation if possible is important. It is also essential to set clear boundaries and communicate that such behavior is unacceptable. In many cases, seeking external support from friends, family, or professionals can provide the necessary support to deal with the situation effectively. If the verbal abuse persists, it may be necessary to take more drastic measures, such as limiting contact or completely ending the relationship. Protecting your mental and emotional health is paramount, and no one should tolerate being treated with disrespect or aggression. Recognizing and acting against verbal abuse is a crucial step in maintaining your dignity and personal safety. Sign 15. Enjoyment of others' pain. One of the most shocking signs that you might be dealing with a bad person is when they show enjoyment in others' pain. This behavior, known as schadenfreude, is the satisfaction derived from another person's suffering or misfortune. Seeing someone take pleasure in another's adversity is deeply disturbing and reveals a lack of empathy and an inclination towards cruelty. For example, if after a colleague is fired or goes through a difficult time, another person in the office appears visibly pleased or makes derisive comments, it indicates a severe lack of moral sensitivity. This type of perverse joy is particularly alarming because it not only shows a disregard for others' feelings, but also suggests a willingness to benefit or take pleasure at the expense of someone else's suffering. This behavior can create an extremely toxic environment where people feel insecure and fearful, knowing that their misfortune could be a cause for celebration for others. Additionally, the person exhibiting such behavior might be seen as someone to avoid, making it difficult to build trust and cooperation within groups or communities. To confront someone who shows enjoyment in others' pain, it is important to address the behavior directly and assertively, expressing how such attitudes are unacceptable and harmful. Promoting a culture of empathy and mutual support can help mitigate these attitudes and reinforce the importance of caring for one another, especially in difficult times. Furthermore, in environments like the workplace, it might be necessary to involve team leaders or human resources to ensure that such behaviors are appropriately addressed, promoting a safe and respectful environment for everyone. Identifying someone who finds pleasure in others' pain is a warning sign that should not be ignored. This behavior is a clear indication of a potentially bad person whose attitudes can cause significant harm to the emotional and social well-being of others. Protecting yourself and promoting an environment of compassion and respect are essential steps in dealing with this situation effectively. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.